Okay, good morning. We'll start seated today. However you're comfortable, easy cross-legged if that works for you. And if you prefer to prop yourself up on a block or a blanket, that works too. It's totally up to you. And if you're ever wondering if you should or you shouldn't, all it does is it kind of gives you a little bit of a release in the hips. So if you have really tight hips, it is a good idea. Also, if you find when you're sitting down flat, if there's a lot of rounding in the lower back that you just can't seem to get rid of, if you prop the hips up, it'll give you access to do that a little bit more. So knees would be in line with or hips would be in line with the knees, or even better, hips would be higher than the knees. I'm going to go without the block today. So sitting up tall, close the eyes, start to take a deep breath in through the nose and back out through the nose. Deep breath in. Exhale out through the mouth this time. 2 more like that. Big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Last one. Then we'll breathe in through the nose, coming right into our Ujjayi breath this time. Back out through the nose. And then you'll keep going back and forth. And then find a good spot for the hands. So you can start to slide the hands up and down the thighs from the hips to the knees, back and forth several times until you find a place for the hands that feels like the chest can sit up really tall, the spine really long, top of the head's reaching up. And then we'll keep this length in the spine. Start to bring the chin down toward the chest and feel that stretch in the back of the neck. And then we'll start to bring the left ear over toward the left shoulder just to get really long in the whole right side of the neck, right shoulder area. Then you'll come back down through the center the way we started, and you'll go over to the other side. So right ear more toward the right shoulder. And we'll go slowly back and forth, side to side. Keep the eyes closed. So that way you can just kind of go on your own. Make sure you're still breathing. And as you're going side to side, you're also searching to see, are there any tight spots, any tenderness? If that's the case, you can stay in that spot, breathe through it. If it's feeling pretty good everywhere, then just explore the range of motion going side to side. And then next time the left ear ends up over by the left shoulder, stay there. And you can take the left hand and just lightly, as light as you can, just rest it on top of the head, adding a little bit more weight. It really doesn't take much to deepen the stretch on the right side of the neck. And then you'll set the left hand down, slowly start to bring the chin down toward the chest, eventually bringing the right ear over toward the right shoulder. Get as long as you can on the whole left side, and then use the right hand, bring that up, lightly rest it on top of the head. Keep that left shoulder moving away from the ear. And the right hand comes back down to the thigh. Bring the chin back down toward the chest, then bring the head back up to center. Feel all that space in the neck, shoulders going down the back. And on the inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And on the exhale, bring the hands down in front of you, coming into a hip opening. So we're just starting out. Keep it easy and light, especially if this is the first thing that you've done today. Close the eyes, let the head and the neck go, gently starting to get into the hips. And then walk the hands back in. Bring the hands back behind you. Lean back. Switch the crossing of the legs, bringing the other shin in front. Sit side to side a couple of times so you feel even on the sit bones. Bring the hands to the knees. And this time we'll do Sufi rolls to warm up the spine. So you'll start to lean forward over the right knee on the inhale, then the left knee. And on the exhale, hang on to both knees around the spine and keep going in this direction. Inhaling forward, exhaling as you round back. Eyes can be closed for this too. Circles are as big or as small as you want them to be. Doing what feels good in your body. And the next time you end up over the left knee, pause there and switch the direction of the circles. So go the other way, back over to the right knee, exhale back, and then come forward on the inhale. And you might feel the difference the first couple of times you go around, and then it starts to feel just like you were doing it on the first side. Last cycle, you'll come back up to seated. Take your time with it. And then once you come back up, sit tall. See if you can still feel the movement, even though you're totally still. Eyes closed, so you can go inside. And then inhale, reach the arms all the way up and forward fold on this side, coming into the hip stretch that we did before, other hip. You'll start to walk the hands back in, bring the hands back behind you, bring the feet out wide so they're more toward the edges of the mat. Keeping the feet wide, move the knees side to side, windshield wipers. And then we'll start to come forward onto hands and knees. We'll get into the wrists a little bit. So start in tabletop and then turn the hands so that the fingertips point toward one another. So palms are going to face up and you can lean back to take the weight off the hands. The farther forward you come forward, the more weight goes into the wrist opening. So get comfortable with it first before you add more weight. Fingers are spread. It's weird. It's a great way to open up the wrist though. And then if you feel comfortable, so you're welcome to just stay right here and stay still. If you feel comfortable, you could start to rock forward and back a little bit and kind of just test that boundary, get it in there a little bit more. And if it's too much, skip it. Especially with, I remember doing this the first time and it just made me really uncomfortable because I knew I couldn't support the weight of my body with my hands like this, but you're in control of how much weight you're putting on the hands and the wrists here. And then you'll come back to center, bring the hands, bring the hands down to the mat. And then from here, we'll turn the hands the other way. So turn the hands out so that the fingertips point out and away from, they point to the outer edges of the mat. And then here we'll just take circles. So you'll circle the shoulders over the wrists. And then go the other way. Back to center, and then turn the hands all the way around so the fingertips point toward the knees. And if this is too much, you can just do one hand at a time. That works too. And then on the inhale, reach the heart forward, lift the tail. And on the exhale, round the spine. Two more like that. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale around. Last one. Back to a neutral spine. Turn the hands back around. So you're stacking the shoulders right over the wrists. Fingers are spread evenly. And then make sure the index fingers pointing straight forward or a little bit out, but not in. And then step the right foot back behind you. So toes on the mat, ball the foot on the mat. Fire up that right leg, push the mat away from you, reach the heart forward, and feel the core start to turn on. So the whole body's working without moving the hips or anything. Just step the left foot back. See if you can be as still as possible when you do that. And even now, when you're in plank pose, you're keeping that wide base with the hands, but it's almost like you're trying to pull the wrists or the forearms away from the wrists. So you're not dumping down into the wrists. Biceps spin forward, triceps spin back. Chest is reaching forward, and that lengthens the front side of the body. Tailbone's reaching back toward the heels, and navel's going up toward the sternum. Legs are pretty firm. It's like you're squeezing something between the thighs. And then toes are working for you. They're spread down on the mat. They're also pressing into the mat. You're hugging those outer ankles in a little bit so they're not loose. And then we'll slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Knees can come down to help. Tops of the feet come to the mat. Reach the arms back behind you like you're holding a beach ball between the hands. So keep those arms firm. And then lift and spread the chest. Doesn't need to be that high. Tops of the feet stay down. And then exhale, release. Make a pillow with the hands, turn the head one way, rest. And then we'll come back up through center. One more just like that. Reach the arms back behind you, press into the tops of the feet, squeeze the hands together, and then reach the chest forward, looking down the bridge of the nose. Still keeping that length in the lower back. So pointing the tailbone back toward the heels. And then gently release, make a pillow with the hands, turn the head the other way, rest. And then this time we'll take Cobra. So you'll bring the head back up to center, walk the hands back, hug those outer elbows in, still pressing into the tops of the feet, lift and spread the chest. So if the belly comes up away from the mat, that's fine. Just keep the pubic bone down and elbows are bent no matter where you are. Exhale, let that go. Child's pose. Come up to hands and knees, big toes together, sit the hips back. Crawl those hands as far forward as you can. And in this child's pose, start thinking about downward facing dog with the upper body. So fingers are spread evenly. Arms are working so that it's almost like they're squeezing together, but then you want to keep that width across the shoulder blades. Hips are pulling back toward the heels so the spine feels really long. And then keep the upper body the way that it is. Start to look forward, arms strong, shift forward, tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. So feet are hip width distance apart. You shouldn't be able to see your heels. It's almost like they're kicking out a little bit, hiding behind the balls of the feet. Knees can be bent, especially if that gives you more length in the spine or if the legs are really tight. Then step the right foot forward up between the hands, coming into a runner's lunge. Fingertips can come to the mat. You could even put blocks underneath the hands. Set the back knee down. Reach the arms all the way up on the inhale. On the exhale, cactus the arms, bring the elbows down and back, like almost like you're trying to touch them behind the back way low. And then inhale, reach up. 2 more like that. Exhale, elbows down and back, chest open. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, cactus the arms, open up across the chest. Inhale, reach up, bring the hands down to the mat. Back toes tuck, lift the back knee, left hand down, right arm up for a twist. So you just did a little bit of shoulder opening. Maybe you can lean back a little bit with the chest, but keep that right knee pointing forward. And let's do one big circle with this right arm. So reach that right arm back, then down toward the mat, and then reach it back up to the sky again. See if you can open up the chest a little bit more on the right side. Right hand comes down to the mat, step back to downward facing dog. Left foot steps up between the hands. Runner's lunge just for a beat. Get that long stride. Then start to set the back knee down, reaching the arms all the way up on the inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms, lift and spread the chest. Inhale, reach back up, 2 more like that. Exhale, elbows down and back. Inhale, reach up. Last one. Inhale, reach back up. Hands come back down to the mat. Back toes tuck, lift the back knee, right hand underneath the right shoulder, left arm reaches up. Reaching back with that left arm to open up the left side chest. One big slow circle, reach back with the left arm. You can follow the fingertips with the eyes down toward the mat, reach the arm forward and it'll slowly reach back up. Maybe the chest opens a little bit more. Left hand down to the mat, step back to downward facing dog. Bending the knees, look forward, step, walk, slowly bring the feet up between the hands. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back down. 2 more like that. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Last one. This time, inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together overhead, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga, cobra or up dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. All the way up on your inhale. Hands together at the top, down in front of the heart. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat, back to plank pose. Lower down halfway chaturanga, chest open, shoulders back. Roll up to your back bend, up dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. And then without changing anything, notice where the weight's falling in the hands. So if it's all going into the heel of the hands, see if you can start to press down into the fingertips, making it more even. Then bend the knees, look forward, feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. All the way up on the inhale, bring the palms together, down in front of the heart. One more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, lower down halfway chaturanga. Inhale up for your back bend. Exhale back to down dog. Right foot steps up between the hands. Warrior one, hop that back foot in so you can seal the heel, reach the arms forward and up. See if you can square the hips, the chest. Keep that back leg straight and lunge in the front leg. Reaching the fingertips up toward the sky. Then keeping everything square, straight forward, can you straighten the front leg, continue to reach up. So you can go slow with that. Both legs are straight. You're reaching up away from the legs. And then we'll turn the toes over to the left. So you're still reaching up, toes are turning over to the left. Angle in the right toes, turn the left toes out. Warrior two, you're facing the back of the mat. Flip the front palm up, reach back, reverse warrior. Left forearm, left thigh, right arm reaches up and over, extended side angle. Next pose is reverse triangle. So you'll straighten the front leg, reach that left palm up and back. Bring the hands to the hips. Turn those left toes in. Angle on the left toes. Turn the right toes all the way out. Reach the arms out wide. Triangle pose. So send the hips back. Reach that right arm forward. Right arm down. Left arm up. Trikonasana. Turn that left palm to face forward and reach the left arm up and over the ear. So you're getting long in the whole left side of the body. Then look down at the mat, bring the hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose. Vinyasa if you want one, or skip it and go straight back to downward facing dog. Left foot steps up between the hands. Warrior one, hop the back foot in. Take your time with the transitions. Always better to use strength to get into the pose instead of rushing and creating too much momentum. Then once you're in the pose, starting to fine tune it a little bit, get everything facing forward. Find the strength in the legs as you lift the rib cage up. Belly hugs in for support. And you're right with your Ujjayi breath. Then as you continue to reach up, you'll slowly start to straighten the front leg. Keep that upper body reaching up. Turn the left toes over to the right. So you're facing the side of the mat. Angle on the left toes. Turn the right toes out. Warrior two, facing the back of the mat. Flip the front palm up, reverse warrior. Extended side angle, right forearm, right thigh. Reach the left arm up and over. Keep that lunge in the front leg, but keep some weight in the back leg. Reverse triangle, straighten the front leg, reach that right arm up and back. Hands to the hips, turn those right toes in, angle them in a little bit, turn the left toes out, spread the arms out wide, triangle pose, hip shift back, reach that left arm forward, left hand comes down, right arm reaches up, Trikonasana. Right palm turns to face forward, reach the right arm up and over. Look down at the mat, bend that front leg to get the hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose, optional vinyasa on the way to downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward, bring the feet up between the hands. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Bend the knees, reach the arms up. Then come all the way up to standing, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Inhale, sit back, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose, any way you want, back to downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, warrior one. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up. Angle in the right toes. Keep angling them in. Turn the left toes out. Warrior two facing the back of the mat. Flip the front palm. Reverse warrior. Extended side angle, forearm to thigh. You could bring that hand down on a block inside the foot if you want to. Reverse triangle, straighten the front leg, reach that left arm up and back. Right hand's really light. Hands to the hips. Turn those left toes to face in toward the side of the mat. Keep angling them in. Turn the right toes out. Spread the arms out wide. Triangle pose, facing forward. Left palm face towards the top of the mat. Reach that left arm up and over the ear. If you want more, you could reach the right arm forward too. Then bend the right knee, bring the hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose, any way you want, to downward facing dog. Left foot steps up between the hands, warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up. Turn those left toes in, keep angling them in, right toes out, warrior two toward the back of the mat. Front palm up, reverse warrior. Extended side angle, forearm to thigh, left arm up and over. Reverse triangle, straighten the front leg, right arm reaches up and back. Bring the hands to the hips, turn those right toes in, left toes out, triangle pose. Right arm reaches up and over. Left hand stays where it is, or maybe the left hand reaches forward. You're holding that beach ball again and opening up the chest toward the side. Then bend that front leg, bring the hands down to the mat, step back with or without a vinyasa, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, bring the feet up. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. All the way up to standing, hands come together down in front of the heart. So we'll go through that flow one more time. We'll try to keep it around 1 breath per movement-ish. So a little bit faster. Go at your own pace. You can catch up whenever you want. Bend the knees, sit back on the inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose, down dog, vinyasa, you decide. Right foot steps up right away, warrior one on the inhale. Exhale up, straighten that front leg, keep reaching up. Turn the toes in toward the side of the mat. Warrior two on the exhale, facing the back of the mat. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale back, reverse triangle. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips, turn those left toes in, spread the arms out wide, turn the right toes out, triangle pose. Take your time. Left arm can reach up and over. Right arm can reach forward. Bend that right knee, hands to the mat, back to plank pose, down dog, vinyasa. Follow your breath. Left foot forward, warrior one, come up on the inhale. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up. Turn the toes to the right. Angle on the left toes, right toes out, warrior two on the exhale. Inhale back, reverse warrior. Exhale, forward extended side angle. Inhale back, reverse triangle. Exhale as you transition to triangle facing the top of the mat. Come into triangle pose, left arm down, right arm up. Right arm reaches up and over. Maybe left arm reaches forward. Send that left knee forward, hands come down to the mat, back to downward facing dog. Few breaths in your downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward to the top of the mat, bring the feet forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Chair pose on the inhale. All the way up to standing on the exhale, hands come together, down in front of the heart. Moving on, bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Up to you how you get back to downward facing dog. You can step straight there, modify vinyasa, or take one. Right foot steps up between the hands. Find warrior one. Straighten the front leg, keep reaching up. Turn the toes to the left. Warrior two, back of the mat. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Stay here. Stay just like this, or maybe the left arm starts to reach forward, similar to the way we did in triangle. It's a little harder. You can skip it if it's too much. And then you'll take this to reverse triangle. So hold that beach ball, straighten the front leg, reach up and back with both hands. You still have the beach ball in the hands as you keep that front leg straight. It also keeps that right side of the body really long. Bring that beach ball up toward the sky, turn the left toes in, angle the right toes out, spread the arms out wide, triangle. If you really stay with that beach ball analogy like me, you're like, where'd the beach ball go? Left arm reaches up. It appears when we need it and disappears when we need that to happen too. Left palm reach, keep the arms spread at 12 and 6, sorry. Look down toward the right foot, bend the right knee, bring the right hand ahead of the right pinky toe, even on a block, and you're coming into half moon. So step forward, lift that left leg, but lift the outer left heel higher than the big toe. That'll help preserve the space in the lower back, and then open up the chest to the side. It'll also keep the legs really strong. See if you can get lighter in the right hand. Maybe it floats away from the mat. We're stepping back to triangle pose. Bend the standing leg. Reach way back with that left foot. Open up the arms wide. And now reach that left arm up and over the ear. Maybe a lot to ask. Right arm reaches forward. Maybe beach ball's back. Bend the right knee, hands down to the mat. Work your way back to downward facing dog. So here's where you have to make those decisions if vinyasas are feeding your practice or not. Left foot steps up between the hands. Warrior one when you're ready. Straighten the front leg. Left toes turn in toward the side. Keep angling the left toes in. Turn the right toes out. Warrior two. Reverse warrior. Reach up and back. Exhale forward, extended side angle. Stay here. Left arm reaches up and over. Open up across the chest. Start to get lighter in that right arm. Maybe you float that right arm forward. Hang on to that beach ball, coming into reverse triangle. Straighten the front leg, reach up and back. Beach ball back up to the sky. Turn those right toes in. Keep angling them in. Turn the left toes out. Drop the beach ball, arms out wide. Triangle pose. Hips back, left arm down, right arm up. Keeping the arms at 12 and 6 o'clock. Look down at the left foot. Bend that left knee a lot. Reach forward ahead of the left pinky toes as far forward as you can. And then start to shift the weight forward to the left leg and come to Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Outer right heel is the highest part of the foot. Big toe goes down toward the mat a little bit. Keep opening up across the chest. Press out through both legs. Then see if you can get lighter in the left hand. Maybe move it away from the mat. Bend the standing leg. Reach back with the right foot. Triangle is your exit. Left hand down, right arm up. Right hand points forward. Reach the right arm up and over the ear. Stay here, or maybe the left arm reaches up. Open up the chest to the side. Bend that left knee, hands down to the mat. Step back to plank pose, maybe a vinyasa. Walk the hands back toward the feet at the back of the mat. Then we're coming into a yogi squat. So you can turn the toes out, separate the feet as much as you need to, and start to bring the hips down toward the mat. If heels are not touching the mat, keep the hands down in front of you and just go for that long spine. You're still getting the hip opening and protecting the lower back. Otherwise, you can slide something underneath the feet if you have something easily accessible. If heels are down, hands together in front of the heart. Keep opening up those knees so they don't cave in, and see how long you can make the spine. So there's a lifting of the pelvic floor and the crown of the head. And then thinking about energy going up through the crown of the head helps us find a little bit more length. And if the hips feel relaxed, see if you can start to engage all those hip muscles, tiny hip muscles all over the place, to help you find a little bit more support there in your malasana. Then we'll bring the left hand out to the side. Right arm reaches up. So you're opening up the chest again. You can stay like this. You could play with the bind if you want to. So that right arm can wrap behind the back, and maybe this is enough. Some of you might be able to snug that left shoulder down a little bit, reach around the left leg and see if the hands connect. But don't lose sight of that right knee. It's still opening out, even though it wants to come in. Chest is opening to the side. Toward the right, chest is opening. Gently release if you have the bind. Reach the arms out wide. Come back to hands together and center. And we'll start to transition over to the other side. So right arm reaches down and out. Left arm reaches up. Feel that length in the spine as you twist. Keep that left knee moving over the toes, not caving in toward the mat. Maybe the half bind with the left arm reaching around the back. Maybe the right arm reaches around the right leg and the hands connect, lifting the chest, keeping that left knee open, staying with your Ujjayi. Slowly release if you have the bind. Hands come back together. We'll all bring the hands down to the mat, straighten the legs, heel toe the feet back to hip width distance. Should feel pretty good. Then inhale up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Walk the hands forward, back to downward facing dog. Last vinyasa if you want one. Skip it if you don't, and just hold downward facing dog. Then from here, we'll come down onto our stomach. So you can bring the knees down to the mat, lower the chest down to the mat. Lying back down onto your stomach. Legs stretch back behind you. Bring the left forearm in front of the face, bend the right knee, and reach back, grab for that right foot. So make sure that the knee is pointing straight back and not out to the right. And two options. You can rest the head on the arm in front of you, or you could take a little bit of a back bend and lift the chest. Some of you, I can't do it, but I can talk you through it, can turn the hand around so that the fingertips point forward. Might be an option. Otherwise, just keep pulling that foot in, getting a nice quad stretch and a back bend, maybe. Release the right foot back, bring the right forearm in front of the face, bend the left knee, reach back, grab for the left foot. Left knee points straight back. Gently release the foot back, bring the hands back by the side ribs, come back up to hands and knees, bring the feet over to one side, walk the hands back. You're coming to seated on the mat. So scoot yourself forward so you're more toward the top of the mat. Come on down onto your back. Setting up for bridge pose. So line up the heels with the knees, press into the feet, lift the hips up. Interlace the fingers underneath you or grab the outer edges of the mat like you're going to rip the mat apart. Both are a great way to engage the arms and the shoulders. So the shoulders can lift and spread the chest. And then slowly release. Bring the hips back down to the mat. Rest here a couple breaths. Back up, second round bridge pose, either arm variation. Slowly start to release, bring the hips back down to the mat. And we'll come into our third and final back bend. We didn't do a whole lot of back bending today. If you feel like you want to take a deeper back bend like Urdhva Dhanurasana, you're welcome to. Otherwise, stick with bridge pose. When you're ready, press into the feet, lift the hips up. Last back bend. So see if there's any more space in this one. Setting up the rest of your day. And slowly start to release, bring the hips back down to the mat. Open up the arms like a T. You could even cactus the arms if that feels better on the shoulders. That's fine too. Heel toe the feet out wide and let the knees fall together. So creating some space in the lower back. And then continue to keep the feet where they are. Just bring the knees side to side like windshield wipers. Next time the knees end up over on the left, just let them go all the way over to the left. So that right knee and right thigh is going down and away from you. It should feel really long. And you can stay like this. Some of you might feel comfortable hooking the left foot just above the knee on the thigh. And that should give you more space. If it doesn't feel great, unhook the foot and just let the foot rest where it was before. Then unhook the foot if you have that. Bring the knees all the way over to the right, keeping the feet wide. Let that left knee go down and away from you so it feels like the quad's getting really long. And then stay like this, or maybe the right foot hooks just above the left knee on the thigh. And all that's doing is allowing you to get a little bit more length in that left side of the body. The right foot is hooked, unhook it, feet wide, bring the knees back to center, heel toe the feet back to center, and we'll take a deeper twist each side. So hug the right knee in toward the chest, extend the left leg out in front of you, and let that right knee come all the way over. So you're moving over onto the left side of the body, left side of the side of the left hip, head, left hip, and left foot should be in one line. You can look up or over the right arm. And we're doing a one leg twist. If that presents any issues in the lower back or anywhere, just bring the knees together. Then start to make your way back onto your back. Bring the feet to the mat. Hug the left knee in toward the chest. Start to extend the right leg out in front of you. Left knee crosses over the body. Find that shimmy so you can get that right hip underneath you. Reach that left arm out. Maybe look over the left arm. And then trying to get the head, right hip, and right foot in line. And start to come back onto your back, walk the feet in, bending the legs. We'll take happy baby, reach through the insides of the legs, grab whatever's there. You can grab the backs of the thighs, the calves, ankles, outer edges of the feet, inner edges of the feet. Traditionally, it's outer edges of the feet. We're all bringing the hips down toward the mat. Chest is staying open, head is resting on the mat. And then you pull back on whatever you have. This is a hip opener. You can rock side to side, keep it playful. Then bring the knees in toward the chest and extend the legs up. Press up through the heels, bring the toes down toward the face. So the legs are getting firm here and you're finding a stretch in the back sides of the legs. You can hang on to the thighs or the calves, maybe bringing them in a little bit closer so you feel like that stretch is starting to happen. And then bend the knees, bring the feet back down to the mat. Extend the legs out in front of you, coming into Shavasana, or come up for a seated meditation, whichever one sounds better. Start to position yourself in a place where you can let go of the body, close the eyes, and start to drop into stillness. Seeing how quickly you can get there and committing to it. If you're in Shavasana, starting to move the hands and the feet, deepening the breath, reaching the arms overhead, walking the feet in, bending the legs, rolling over onto your right side, cradling the head and the arm, using the hands to bring yourself up to your meditation seat, sitting up tall, eyes closed, staying in this stillness, and noticing how comfortable you feel with all the distractions worked away within the body, within the mind, comfortable in your own skin. Bring the hands together in front of you, bow the head, taking a moment to honor and acknowledge your heart and spirit, as well as everyone around you. Bring the head back up, blink open the eyes. Namaste. Thanks so much for sharing your practice, collective energy, whether you're doing it live or recorded. See you next time.